This is the best case scenario for the Phoenix Suns as they approach the offseason and difficult questions on how to build their roster. Matt Ishbia has a lot of questions and one suffering around Kevin Durant, and the potential superstar is set to be let go for this team. And what is Brian Gregory going to hold in front of him? Well, I have a perfect plan for this team to ensure getting a top tier return for a player that is very valued across the league in Kevin Durant. So we're going to dive in and we're going to explore this possibility and how it works for the Suns, how it works for the San Antonio Spurs, and overall why this is the best case scenario for this team heading into next off season. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been fantastic. Thank you guys so much for showing your support, coming out into the live stream yesterday and really hanging out and giving the Suns community a good applause here on this channel for Ben and I. And we really do appreciate all your guys' support. But we do want to let you guys know that once again, 65% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this team, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the know on every move that happens with these daily uploads. Without further ado, we're going to dive in. We're going to get to this video at hand, so make sure to grab a snack. And this is ultimately interesting for the Phoenix Suns to really consider here when looking at a player in Kevin Durant. But I have come up with, I think, is the best case scenario for the Phoenix Suns approaching this off season. And ultimately, I would not like to have Kevin Durant leave this Phoenix Suns team, I would love to have Kevin Durant on this team, build around him and build around Devin Booker. But ultimately, with the other trade inquiring Bradley Beal and kind of suffocating this team and potentially having to buy him out, sign and waive him, do whatever they do to get off of this contract, it seems like the only way to really get out of this mess that the Phoenix Suns are in right now is to move off a player in Kevin Durant, to also free up some salary, to bring in some solid role players, to retool around Devin Booker, to really hit a fresh reset in a year or two with this Suns team. And we're going to dive in, and we already know with reports that the Phoenix Suns have interest with Kevin Durant and potentially going to the Spurs, as we've seen here from Jake Fisher from a little while ago, where he talks about how the Spurs are a team to be interested in Giannis this summer, but he also adds that there are whispers around the league of them also being in for Kevin Durant. And I think Durant would be a perfect piece to add alongside this team. Obviously, they could go the Giannis route, go full championship mode, but it would cost not only their 2 lottery picks this season in 2 and 14, but also a surplus of players and future draft capital to really incentivize Milwaukee to take their deal. And if you are San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama coming off these blood clots and having De'Aaron Fox wanting to put a team around some of these guys, maybe that is the all-in move that you want to go, but you could also pivot and go with a guy like Kevin Durant, who can also still bring that excellence as a scorer, but maybe for a less price tag to allow you to still keep some pieces to build around Durant, Wembanyama, and Fox for the future. So that's where we're going to dive in and explore some potential trades that could get involved here with the Phoenix Suns. So how do the Phoenix Suns get it done? This is what we're diving into next. And for these trades, obviously it would have to involve 4 pieces involving on the Suns, and that would either be Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Harrison Barnes. For this trade, I have multiple trades here to kind of really look at. It's Kevin Durant for Barnes, Johnson, Sohan, and a first, getting the 14th overall pick for the Phoenix Suns. In this one, it's Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and the 14th overall pick for Kevin Durant. And in this one, even though it says it fails, it can still go through in next season once the Suns are not a second apron team by bringing in Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and Jeremy Sohan. And lastly, looking at the Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan package. So basically, just substituting everybody and moving them around. Ultimately, I do believe that this is the worst package for the Phoenix Suns here, going after Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes, as I still think they could get some value, and I think adding 3 players is the best package. But let's discuss my favorite one, which is Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and a first-round pick. Now, obviously, getting the 14th overall pick would be some great value for the Suns, adding some young talent alongside Ryan Dunn and Osa Ighodaro, 2 stars who have played great for your team already last season, would be key, and potentially adding a piece of need, regardless if it's the point guard position or if it's at the center position with that 14th overall pick, could be key for the Suns if they can add an impactful player who could already make some great plays alongside those rookies and Devin Booker on this roster to really change this culture and identity that Matt Ishbia has aligned for this franchise. Now, if we want to look at the other pieces, Harrison Barnes, a solid veteran scorer. We saw for the San Antonio Spurs this season, he can be a good catch and shoot. He's good on the three-point line, and he's also a pretty solid defender as well. On an expiring $22 million contract, this is also a solid deal for the Suns to get back, just in case maybe they don't live up to their expectations and fail a little bit like this season. He's a tradable contract that other teams around the league could see as a contender. Maybe the Suns could get some future draft capital off of that. Keldon Johnson, once again, another intriguing player on this list, similar to Jeremy Sohan. Both provide some youth movement for this Phoenix Suns team getting a little bit younger, but provide some different elements. Obviously, Johnson being a little bit of a slasher, whereas Sohan is more of a defender, power forward / passer, but both adding roles that the Suns do not have currently on this roster. The Suns also are adding 3 wings, something they lacked very obviously this season, with only really Ryan Dunn, Kevin Durant, Caleb Martin, and Royce O'Neal in that position. And by addressing that hole, it clearly shows that the Suns are identifying a weakness that they had last season. Adding Keldon Johnson, adding Jeremy Sohan, like I mentioned, haven't had their best season since their rookie year, but still have some untapped potential that they could bring out for this Phoenix Suns team. You could also look at a package involving Devin Vassell, this one with Harrison Barnes here. Now, I think that the Spurs could involve Devin Vassell in a contract or a trade with the Phoenix Suns, all due to the fact that maybe he doesn't fit their all-guard lineup that they have been running with these 3 guards, right? They already have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, potentially are going to be available for a guy in Dylan Harper if they select him at number 2. So a guy like Vassell maybe be the odd guy out. And for the Suns, at $23 million isn't a max contract, still is a tradable contract, and is still someone who can create offensively alongside Devin Booker, even if it is not the perfect fit. Now, obviously, the Spurs may want to keep a guy like Harrison Barnes because maybe they want that shooting alongside Kevin Durant, but maybe they want that guy in Keldon Johnson as well to have some verticality and some athleticism for them as a slasher alongside Kevin Durant. That's ultimately where the question really does come with the San Antonio Spurs here. And does it make sense for these teams? Ultimately, when you do ask yourself these questions, I want to know, to you guys, does it make sense to you? Do you guys like these trades? To me, it does make sense for the Phoenix Suns here, right? Once in all these trades, they are going to be, saving some money in some of them involving Devin Vassell, right? They are going to be, saving money in all these trades, right? As you can see, the green is there for the Suns. So one, not only does it help them save money, which even if it is a little bit, is key for this team to kind of drop below those aprons, even if they do waive Micic and Martin to give them the more flexibility, but it helps them in that regard, but also adds some positions of need, like I said, at the wing position. Personally, like I said, I would rather go and get the 3 wing package, this one displayed here, because similar to how when you traded for Durant, you lost wings. Now you don't really have wings with Durant, so going and getting 3 solid ones alongside Durant makes sense. And also for the San Antonio Spurs, adding Durant alongside Wembanyama, Vassell, if they do kept him, obviously Fox, Castle, Harper, and stuff, they would still have the flexibility to go and get a wing on the market, but also still have the flexibility of a $23 million contract in Devin Vassell to use to trade out there as well to go and get that wing, right? So the Spurs ultimately do not sacrifice the future with both of their lottery picks and future picks on top of players to go and get a Giannis and go out and get a player like Kevin Durant. Now the question might be, with a 1-year deal, is this all worth for Kevin Durant? I think it obviously is. Durant could also extend with you in San Antonio, and you can build a contender alongside him, Wembanyama, Fox, Castle, and many more players that you have. Like I said, you could still keep Devin Vassell, potentially bring back Chris Paul, add Dylan Harper. The options are endless with San Antonio and their possibilities, not only with the future now, but also their future draft capital. And I think this move for them ultimately doesn't sacrifice all of their future, but also puts them in a little bit of a more comfortable spot to be putting some winning basketball on the court. And for the Phoenix Suns, it's ultimately one of the best packages that you can get in return for a player like Kevin Durant to fill out some holes of need at that wing position, and then ultimately save some money to use maybe the MLE or potentially some other tradable contracts and guys like Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal on this roster to go out and get some other positions at the center or in the point guard. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Ultimately, like I said, I think this is the best case scenario for the Phoenix Suns, is to engage with the San Antonio Spurs and try to get all 3 of those wings. If not, they can get Vassell in 2 of those wings. It's a-okay. I just want to make sure that both parties get something rewarding out of this, and I think both parties would be happy in this move. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.